Hello and Shabbat Shalom to you. Hope that you are enjoying your Friday, probably a little bit warm, but still Friday. That's going to be heading into Shabbat soon this evening, and then into our 25 hours of just a little bit of paradise. 1/50th, the rabbis say, of paradise on Shabbat. We read this week the Torah portion of Chukat. And Chukat continues here in the book of Numbers, in the book of Bamidbar. It is a very challenging Torah portion, particularly for those who are fans of Moses. It's a bit of a parallel Torah portion, one section particularly, the section that I have depicted behind me here, of the Israelites complaining that they are thirsty and that they want water, and Moses tries his best to bring forth this water. The situation happens in the book of Exodus, two books earlier, and happens again here. And it's a little nuanced. The nuance is a little different here, which is probably why there are complicated repercussions this week. So again, the Israelites are thirsty and they demand their water, and Moses finds himself at a rock, just like in the book of Exodus, where God pretty much will bring forth this water, and yet there is a complication on how the water comes forth this week as opposed to it did in the book of Exodus. And it's a very challenging Torah portion. There's a little nuance in which Moses does not do exactly what God says. It's very clear in the text. And because of that, Moses gets punished. And it's also stated in this week's Torah portion that he gets punished. That punishment is perhaps the most difficult punishment of all, which is that he is not going to be able to travel into the promised land after all these years wandering in the desert. It's a difficult Torah portion, like I said, particularly for those of us who are the Moses fans. My question for you is it a fair response? Again, he doesn't follow directions, which is true. But does the punishment match the level of perhaps the way in which Moses does not behave well? Do we think that it's fair that Moses does not get to go into the promised land because of this incident? Some say there were other incidents that also were building up to this, and that this was perhaps the pinnacle of those incidents, but still, nonetheless, that's the question I want us to think about on this Shabbat. Are maybe people who are in higher positions, are they held to a higher level? Perhaps if someone else had made this mistake, they wouldn't have had the level of punishment. Perhaps it's Moses who receives it because he's Moses. So that's my question, is that, are we all held at the same level, or does it differ perhaps? Because if someone is maybe the owner of a company, or we're working at the helm of something, that they're treated differently than someone else is. And so we will this Shabbat be discussing the Torah portion of Chukat later today at 6:30 p.m. at our service, both in person and on our live stream, and also tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at our Torah study. So I look forward to these dialogues. I look forward to having this conversation with you. And I look forward to seeing what we think about Chukat and about this incident that happens with Moses by the rock and the water. Shabbat Shalom.